of this one, unfortunately knocked out of the tournament.
All right, here we go. We got Smite, Cassidy just running in immediately towards this Demon Hunter and Retribution Paladin, starting the fight off here with the Rake Stun. That Feral Druid Devastation Evoker is going to be a lot of sustain and burst damage for their side. So let's see what Cassidy can get done here. We see Ulza deep breathing across the team as well, stun locking them into muting crowd control. Bank Mistweaver into a Hammer of Justice. An important tool in this matchup is going to be crowd control. So McWeedy is one of the big initiators there with Hammer of Justice and with Repentance. If they can get that CC chain on Bank, that is going to be their win condition.
Yeah, Smite putting out devastating amounts of damage for the time being, but McWeedy getting low on health, needs to be a little bit careful. Interrupts here onto Smite, and it's just very important that you're interrupting Smite after he casts an empowered spell, as those disintegrates are going to do a ton of damage. So those are the moments you want to stun, those are the moments you want to kick. That's what we're going to be looking for from Cleave PILLED, just to slow down this pressure from the side of buff Mistweaver. Mana in favor of Bank at this moment of the game. So buff Mistweaver at this point, I feel like they're kind of winning on all fronts. They're winning on cooldowns, they're winning on mana, they're winning on pressure. McWeedy getting incredibly low on health. Needs to be careful, but so far it's looking very good. But Smite needs to be careful. Demon Hunter and Rep Paladin could do a lot of damage. So if they kind of drop the ball, they fall asleep, they could go down really quick here.
We haven't seen any crowd control chains from Cleave PILLED just yet. Bank Mistweaver's just been chilling in the back, free healing the entire game, and they will not win without crowd control. They are going to lose the damage race. They're just all dying close to a double kill at this point. If they're a little bit more greedy, they manage to exchange in time. There's a Sleepwalk finally finding Bank. They need to chain this into a Hammer of Justice, into a Repentance. There's the Hammer of Justice. Is McWeedy potentially not playing Repentance? I feel like that would be a massive blunder to not play Repentance in this matchup, but we don't see him even attempting to go for it at this point in time, and his healer is almost out of mana at this point. They land an interrupt onto Bank, but now Ulza's into a leg sweep. No Sanctuary. McWeedy's in a Cyclone. He's going to be isolated, but Cassidy out of nowhere is getting cut down by Numbers. Numbers putting himself and his team back in the match for a moment. Now Ulza's been sitting on that Emerald Communion. It's a big heal, but it also gives mana back. So it's going to be his last emergency cooldown lever to pull here in the near future, I think.
Yeah, that was a really scary moment there. Bank's mana is still looking good. McWeedy getting low. He sells a lot of cooldowns straight. Needs to be careful. It will use the Lay on Hands, but they might get more. It might have been the wrong choice. They get Lay on Hands and the Divine Shield. Oh no, not the best trade there from McWeedy, unfortunately. And they are running out of cooldowns there, running out of time. Full Sleepwalk onto Bank, though. He's got the Will of the Forsaken. Will trade it out to keep Cassidy alive and make a swap here onto Numbers. Smite just putting out a ton of damage. Once again, big Fire Breath disintegrates to get a fear on him. So this is what I'm talking about. You have to interrupt the Devastation Evoker after an empowered spell. And they have been doing a decent job of that so far, really limiting what Smite can do.
All right, good recovery here from Bank. Ulza's holding on by a thread. Team is getting cut down. Almost 0 mana remaining at this point, but Cassidy is isolated as well. A leg sweep comes through from Bank, putting Numbers further behind, but he's got Blur. He can trade that. He's going to trade it right now. McWeedy recovers. He's got Spell Warding, which can immune magic damage, which is great, but a triple stun incoming from Smite. He is ramping up to look to close this match. Look at the Disintegrates just coming in from his new 4-set bonus with those little mini dragons, just multiple Disintegrates lasered in. Smite pre-time stopping to avoid crowd control here, it looks like, while Bank was in a Sleepwalk, but he gets another Sleepwalk. Also, it's carrying the game. Oh, what? Why does he not just Trinket Cocoon? They're so far ahead. I swear they're about to win. Did Bank Mistweaver potentially disconnect or something? Because that just seemed like an obvious point right there. Or maybe Smite with maybe a miscommunication on the time stop. He time stopped himself. I definitely want to see that in the replay because it felt like they had a lot of options to trade, and Cleave PILLED are going to put a point on the board and potentially upset the entire prediction desk if they can pull this series off.
Well, there goes my prediction.
Feels good as the healer when that starts to happen, but gates are about to open. It's game 2. This is an elimination series. Whoever loses this is going to be out of the tournament and lose out on an opportunity to earn a lot of points to qualify for Europe's finals in the season 3 of the War Within. And already they're ripping them apart, immediately forcing almost every defensive cooldown from Buff Mistweaver's lineup. Another interrupt landed from Ulza, and it seems like they're just warming up in this series.
Look at damage done. Ulza doing an insane amount of it. That's the thing about Preservation Evoker right now. Table that thought. Smite's still low on health. They need to recover. Bank really struggling at this point of the game. The Slash Shields will trade out, and that should stabilize the team. The Sleepwalk comes in once again. Cassidy's in trouble. Gonna have to tank it out in bear form. The double stun comes in here from Smite. It is back and forth. Numbers getting low. McWeedy getting low as well, but as I was saying, that tip the scales fire breath from Rosa can just do the most damage in the game. It is an insane amount of burst, so you really have to look out for that in these openers.
They survive the opener by the skin of their teeth here. Smite's keeping his distance, spamming disintegrates off to the side so he doesn't get cleaved by the Red Paladin. Fire breath hits the whole team. Olza's blinking in. He gets interrupted on the sleepwalk. He's getting pushed back. He's going to try and use deep breath to escape. He's kind of overextended there for a moment. He's going to use time dilation to get in position for another sleepwalk. He gets interrupted, but the Hammer of Justice holds. He goes for another sleepwalk. He gets shut down again. He needs to get this sleepwalk on Bank. He gets it, and they win the game off that. Smite's at half health right now. They're chasing him down in the middle of the map. He's trying to escape with the deep breath, but he's critically low. Almost going down right there. But Bank is finally out of crowd control, connecting some heals with that rushing wind kick. They swap their attention onto Olza. They've realized Olza, they should be attacking him. He's the pressure point. He's the initiator. He's getting all of the crowd control. So if they can just pressure Olza, sleep Olza, take him out of the game and make him basically useless in the matchup, that's going to be where they develop their edge. And they find a full maim stun. Darkness is going to come down. Ring of Peace doesn't hit the circumference of it. They're actually going to be able to hug the edge of this darkness and get full value. And now Cassidy is in trouble, and Cleave PILLED look even better in game 2.
Another sleepwalk. Smite goes immune with the time stop, but these sleepwalks are so annoying. Olza doing such an incredible job. It's the most frustrating thing to fight a preservation evoker that's good at using the sleepwalk ability, just running on top of you the entire game. They are trying to punish him, which I think is important. Getting the stuns out. He needs to be very careful. The leg sweep comes in. Can they take him down? The time dilation seems like that will be more than enough to keep him nice and healthy. Bank mana still looking good. Buff Sweeper has that as an advantage in the late game. All three members of Cleave PILLED are getting low, but at the same time, Cassidy is incredibly low. Big setup here on Olza once again, but McWeedy, he's got answers if he needs it. He's got the Sanctuary. He can use the Blessing of Spell Warding. There are tools to keep him alive, but this is getting dangerously close on this Preservation Evoker.
McWeedy trying to reposition here. Olza's almost out of mana, but Bank Mistweaver's in another sleepwalk. His teammates look stable, though, taking 0 damage, just kiting on that big pillar. They're going on to Smite. We see an imprison on the healer. He's going to time stop to immune damage, but Olza's getting crushed right now. Big swap, almost catching and closing out the game. That spell warding is holding on by a thread. Now Cassidy in trouble after that pursuit, but Bank squeezes out the life cocoon. Now Cassidy will be absorbing all those hits and recover almost immediately. Olza's still kind of being a bit aggressive here, trying to blink away from the Cyclone. He's got absolutely 0 mana. Cassidy still targeting him down. Smite's looking a little bit fragile, though. They drop the Vortex to peel them away. Good Cyclones on the Ret Paladin. Another big setup onto Olza, really pressuring him, but he doesn't care. He's going for the deep breath, crossing the map, and Cassidy is just dying, even without any crowd control. The Crackle comes up from Bank. He's trying to fake some interrupts, possibly. He's rolling in on top of Olza, going for the Crackle. He gets stunned instantly on his Crackle. Numbers get stunned up. He can't keep up the pressure, but he still has Nether Walk, so he can make that big trade. Cassidy activates the Survival Instincts, but Bank is into the Sleepwalk. Is it going to be enough? McWeedy gets low as well. It's just constantly back and forth. Anyone can win this. Olza into the leg sweep. He pops Emerald Communion right on the flyby of Smite to heal that damage instantly. And now McWeedy has to take a gamble. He has to push in with absolutely nothing. He's trying to make the final push of the game. If they don't get a kill soon, it's going to be over for him. Olza gets interrupted. Fire Breath cleaves the whole team. Smite is free casting, disintegrates.
That's it.
Over and over and over. And Olza is somehow doing it with a sliver of mana at this point. Is somehow keeping McWeedy alive for another push.
McWeedy, how are you still alive? Olza, what is going on? It is not looking good for Cleave PILLED. They're all 20% health. There's no mana left. McWeedy gets stunned, and he does get dropped. Bank says, you need to die, rolls over, gets the touch of death, and they close out the game. But that was close call after close call. What a crazy start from Cleave PILLED, too. I mean, at the beginning of that game, it was almost looking like a triple kill, a total chaos overlap from both Mystery Monk, but played it calm, cool, collect. Save your team, so pay attention to that for this game.
All right, gates are open. We're running straight in here from Cleave PILLED, dashing across the map, and Cassidy is going to meet them here in the mid, but he doesn't get a rake stun, so he's a little bit behind here. He's going to have to incarnate Shadow Mode pretty soon if he wants to get a stun, but Smite's immediately the focused fire target. He trades cooldowns immediately. Then they're going to switch to Cassidy. He pops Barkskin immediately on the swap, making his team very durable. This is a great exchange of cooldowns from Buff Mistweaver, and it doesn't look like they're actually just going on Bank. They're not going to repentance him. They're just going to attack him, just going full Cleave PILLED.
Yeah, just go healer. I don't know. We're losing. Go healer. Yeah, that is Cleave PILLED for sure. Smite right now throwing in disintegrates once again onto numbers, trying to just chase him down. Also looking for a sleepwalk. Land it. That is going to be the blinding light onto Bank. He's doesn't look like there's much follow-up. And this start is way worse for Cleave. Like, this is not the same explosive start we saw in the last time. But they're going after Bank, and he needs to be very careful. I think he trades out the revival, but he's just dying through it. He needs to be extremely careful at this moment. These swaps on Bank are looking devastating. The first one didn't look good. The second one, though, gets a lot of cooldowns out of the way.
Yeah, Emerald Communion. But at the same time, I feel like Olza's pretty happy to use that early. So he might actually get 2 of them in the game. He gets more mana as a result. And he's getting Sleepwalks on Bank. So his team still has some opportunities, but Smite made a good trade here with the Obsidian Scales before getting stunned. So he's going to be durable. They switch on Cassidy, but his Barskin came off cooldown. They're swapping back on Bank once again, but he's got his port really far away. They can't chase him down, and then he ports right back to his teammate on the swap. A little bit of work to do here. Nice triple leg sweep from Bank from downtown on that port. That forces Divine Shield and Lay on Hands. That was the biggest leg sweep of the series so far.
And Trinket, too. Ulza had to trade out his Trinket there, so they do not have that many answers left. McQueedy's going to need to find a really good Sanctuary on Ulza on that next stun. They're going to set up here onto Smite. It's taking quite a bit of burst damage. Bank, though, not in any crowd control for the time being. Still just can't heal the damage. There's the Life Cocoon. Smite will get saved, but Bank gets interrupted into a stun. Needs to be very careful, immediately Trinketing and getting out of there. Ulza, though, getting swapped to and dropped. And it's turned into just all-out healer swaps during these setups. McWeedy even managed to find the Sanctuary, but there just was not enough healing. That's one of the things, like, Mistweaver Monks quite often, when they're going for these offensive sleepwalks, they'll just trade out, like, the Obsidian Scales, which is their main defensive cooldown, just to avoid being interrupted and land that crowd control. So you can really... to go after Bank or Smite. Let's see if they can set it up.
All right, last chance for Cleave PILLED to stay in the tournament. They're bringing in the Arms Warrior. Is it going to be enough? They've already got his Trinket. He fears the Devastation Evoker. I like that. On the Dragon Rage, they got the Feral Druid and the Dev Evoker Trinket immediately with that. So great play from Vorias, but he is going to be a bit squishier, and it's very hard to chase down a Devastation Evoker. You can already see him having a hard time waddling his way over there. So he's going to switch on Bank, go for an early Demolish. Bank ports away from it on the stun. Very unfortunate for Vorias. He's trying to swap back over with the Bladestorm, and then now back onto the Feral Druid. They're just all over the place, trying to keep buff Mistweaver on their toes.
Looks like they are going to be just going after the Feral Druid quite a bit in this match. As a warrior, connecting on a Devastation Evoker is probably one of the most difficult things you can do in this game. So it's going to have to be just stuns on Smite and big setups with that. But outside of that, it's going to be really difficult to actually take him down. Boris goes over, he gets the stun, now passively trending down Cassidy, basically giving them dual threat in the match. Sleepwalks on Bank once again. They have good pressure at this point of the game, but Bank has so much mana and cooldowns to recover. Needs to be careful. Who's he going to trade out the Life Cocoon on? He gets interrupted. Going for a bit of a greedy play there, but greed ultimately pays off here. Smite survives. Cassidy survives. They hold on to the Life Cocoon, and Buff Mistweaver survives.
All right, so Vorias has no Trinket, no Die by the Sword. Ulza has no Emerald Communion. This is going to be dicey for Cleave PILLED. They're on match point. They're going to be eliminated from cup number 1. They're trying to go after Smite and Storm Bolt. Big Demolish connects with Hammer of Justice. Bank immediately Trinkets and gets Life Cocoon, but now Cassidy's getting cleaved. He's hiding at the pillar. They could swap on Bank. He rolls away from the fray, and Vorias is bashed with very limited options. It's McWeedy who needs to save him. He's got Lay on Hands available. Is he going to be able to connect it? Ulza seems to be recovering without it at the moment, which is going to extend their lifeline just a little bit longer. And they're actually winning on mana for the first time, so the Warrior is adding a lot more pressure with those sharpened blade windows than the Demon Hunter. They're switching on Feral, but a triple stun comes through, and Smite is just destroying right now. So many lasers as he's pulling away, but Ulza recovers it. even despite all that damage. And now Bank, his team's on the back foot. We see a rescue come through from Smite, pulling Cassidy over and giving him a shield for a moment, but Vorius is leaping in, looking to find that execute. Two targets are starting to look juicy right now. Bank misreavers into a sleepwalk. Olza rescues Vorius towards the Devastation Evoker, but then he gets caught in a rake stun. A big swap onto Olza here. Is he going to survive it? Lay on hands comes from McWeedy in the final moments to save him. Vorius is going to get grapple weaponed by the Mistweaver. He's gonna have a hard time. He's into a full stun now. He just can't play the game. Time dilation is up. Deep breath comes through from Olza to avoid crowd control. And he's trying to recover his team behind the pillar with almost nothing. Rewind is gonna be one of his major tools here. He may need to consider it. He's getting a dream breath across the whole team. Heroic leap over, but Smite immunes it. Big deep breath hits almost the entire team, and they are just rotting at the moment. And Olza, when are you going to rewind at this point? Beautiful time stop from Smite. He's been using that throughout, but there's a full cyclone. This could be a divine shield, but here comes Demolish. It gets interrupted, and Smite manages to get away, and it is back and forth. Anybody can take this.
Oh, I love what Smite is doing. He realizes he's the main target. He's making it so annoying, but at the same time, Cassidy is getting low on health. Talk about Smite's positioning a little bit later on. Cassidy's in trouble. Full Hammer of Justice here on the bank. At the same time, McWeedy, Ivorius, and Olza are getting low. Big Dream Breath connects, and I think his team should survive. Pill's looking good, but they're way behind on mana once again. Emerald Communion coming up in about 29 seconds. Beautiful triple stun. Olza is in so much danger, but somehow, some way, manages to survive. The Blessing of Spell Warding trades there for McWeedy. He's now into a full Cyclone, but that was such an insane setup. Now, it's actually going to be Smite on the back foot once again.
Ooh, Cassidy getting swapped to on the time stop. All three players are attacking Cassidy. Bank has Life Cocoon, but he's in a Hammer of Justice. Do they get a sleepwalk out? He's going to Trinket Life Cocoon. Now they can swap back on Smite, but he's not nearby. He's got good positioning away from them. Vorius is trying to move over to swap to Smite right now. McWeedy gets on top of Smite, but Smite fakes a kick, fire breaths the whole team. Disintegrates coming through on multiple targets. Cassidy gets a full stun with no Trinket for 5 seconds. 4 seconds away from it. Cassidy clone low maybe? He gets the clone, but Emerald Communion is available. Olza has a little card up his sleeve right now that could keep his team in this game. But we see the fear on the entire team. A triple intimidating shout from Vorius, and Smite's in trouble. He rescues over around the corner, gets that absorb shield, but banks into a stun. The Incarnation is up. This is a big push. Olza respects it. Emerald Communion. He's gonna get cloned on it. He gets cycloned on his Emerald Communion. Great cyclones here. Vorius in trouble. Olza's trying to push in. He had to use his trinket, but he manages to recover Vorius. They're alive. They have one more chance. Cassidy has no trinket. Bank has no trinket. This could be their last moment. Can they pull it off? No, he had the will to forsake, and he got out of the sleepwalk. Can Bank save his team? Dampening's at 21%. It's a lot of damage. Smite goes down. I can't believe it. Cleave Pilled are taking it to game 5.
Nicely done. I really like what Cleave Pilled did here. It's funny is I feel like Smite actually played this well too. Like he was doing a really good job kiting, but if you're a warrior at home, this is how you want to play it. You don't want to just be chasing the Devastation Evoker all game. That's how you lose the game. But doing these consistent swaps with a stun, with
Pilled out because they can have an explosion of damage right off the bat.
Boris, I really am just excited to see what he decides to do. He's going to Bladestorm early on. It's not that important for the Colossus. Doesn't do that much damage. Bank gets stunned immediately. Stun on Cassidy. Smite at the same time, looking for counter pressure. It's back and forth in the early stages of the match. Dive of the Sword trades. Boris is just going to trade out that defensive cooldown immediately, so Olza does not have to heal through that amount of burst.
Right, good recovery here, but they got Feral Druid Medallion, so Stormbolts on him are going to be scary. They also got the Survival Instincts. That next Demolish, I want to see it go into Cassidy in the near future. Olza's trying to get a sleepwalk here. He's trying to fake interrupts. He's not finding it. Bank goes for the conduit, but he doesn't have CC immunity. He was baiting it. McWeedy is getting soloed by Smite at the moment. Big deep breath from downtown, and here comes Smite. Living Flame spam. A little bit extra damage here. Cassidy could be in trouble with the deep breath from Olza, but now he's into the Paralyze. McWeedy's the target. Nice sleepwalk here, found by Smite onto Olza. McWeedy in trouble. He's got Lay on Hands. He's trying to hold it. He wants to be able to use that on the Warrior if he needs to. So they're going to use Emerald Communion. I like that. The early usage of Emerald Communion. That way it gives mana back, and they might see 2 charges of it in the game. They get a sleepwalk on Bank. Smite's in trouble, but he's using the big map. He's just kiting away with those hovers. Cassidy pre-bear forms, anticipating the swap when Smite kites away. He's going to be durable throughout that shockwave. Now Bank is in a stun. They could switch to him for a moment and possibly force him to port away, but the Cyclones from Cassidy are disrupting too much damage from McWeedy. Smite's trying to reposition. Olza's getting in aggressive. Bank rolls away from it. They're trying to chase down Bank. He rescues McWeedy in aggressively. They're right on top of Bank. They get a sleepwalk. Can they close out the game? Smite time stops as he's golden right there. He goes immune to all damage and healing during that golden animation. Olza now getting swapped to. Smite comes in with a triple, looking to light them up. Big Eternity Surge disintegrates, calling in his little arsenal of dragons as well to assist him. Multiple disintegrates, but he's actually getting kind of destroyed at the moment. It's a lot of damage. Another sleepwalk on Bank here. Smite repositions, try and escape to safety, but now he brings him through Cassidy. They're still on top of him. Smite's in trouble. It's match point. Our buff Mistweaver actually going out of the tournament. Life Cocoon comes in. Cassidy recovers, but they're running so slim on cooldowns at this point. It's looking so shady for their potential win.
Bank trades out in a big way. The Life Cocoon, the Conduit of the Celestials, that keeps his team alive, but he's kind of running on fumes. He'll just pop that Yulon immediately, trying to buff out some of his heals and stay ahead of his incoming damage. See, McWeedy still's got the Divine Shield, he's got the Lay on Hands, and that Blessing of Spell Warding. So lots of defense available here for Cleave build, and I would say bringing in this Warrior is looking really good so far. Smite doing an excellent job with those time stops. He gets interrupted though. Big setup here onto Smite. Uses the deep breath just to get away, but such an important offensive cooldown. Not being able to really utilize that too much offensively, more just to reset his hover charges and stay alive.
Warriors is getting uptime on Smite. He's trying to get away, wrapping around the corner with the hover. But Warriors is chasing him down relentlessly at this point. McWeedy, they need to help out Olza. He's in a stun. Looks like he'll be fine though. He repositions away. He's trying to get towards Bank at the moment. They're waiting for that Sleepwalk DR. They can win. There's no trinket on Bank. Cassidy almost gets destroyed. Life Cocoon sneaks in right before the Sleepwalk. So Cassidy's now trying to look for Cyclones during that Absorb where he can tank interrupts, but they find Smite and Hammer of Justice. He pre-Obsidian scales here. So he activated his damage reduction, anticipating that stun, and it negates their ability to take him down as a result. Smite has been making a lot of heads-up plays, and they catch McWeedy around the corner with a Sleepwalk onto the healer. That's going to force Lay on Hands. One major cooldown out of the bank here. And now Vorius, no Dive of the Sword, no trinket. He's an open target possibly, but maybe with his build, he's not actually a target. Maybe he's a bait at this point. Here comes Smite with that deep breath hitting multiple players, but he's in trouble. His whole team is in trouble. It's match point. Smite gets caught in a Stormbolt. As it lights out, he goes for the rescue, pulling Bank away, but another sleep comes through from Olza. And it really feels like Cleave PILLED at any moment can just knock buff Mistweaver out of the tournament.
Yeah, Olza gets interrupted. Boris, of course, has that Demolish available. Now let's see who they can put it on. Smite is going to be a great target for them to go after. Let's see if he can pre-time stop the setup or if he's going to get stunned in just one shot. Time stop comes in, but it's a little bit too early. I think if he gets Stormbolted, there's a disarm. They're doing a lot to preemptively heal. I mean, they realize how much trouble he is in. They make a setup here onto Cassidy. Cassidy is forced to trade out the trinket as well as the bark skin. So these potential lethal one-shots from the Demolish are really paying dividends here for Cleave PILLED. They're getting all the cooldowns preemptively out of the way, and buff Mistweaver, they really have nothing left, but Cleave PILLED, they need to be careful. They're all low on health. They've got the cooldowns to trade, but they do not want to fumble here on the finish line.
Emerald Communion, they got cloned. Emerald Communion got 0 value. Vorius is in trouble. He's in a full maim stun at the moment. Spell Warding comes out from McWeedy to make Vorius immune to magic damage. Cassidy's the target. Stormbolt, no trinket. Do they have Demolish? They don't. It's 10 seconds away. If they had it, it might have been game right there. Cassidy gets rescued, but he gets charge rooted on the pull there. Cassidy jumps to him, but now he's shockwaved. They're still chasing him down. Grapple on the Warrior, limiting his ability to do damage at the moment. Banks into a sleepwalk. He has to trinket just to try and recover, but he gets sleeped on his trinket. Olza wants this. Cassidy is going down. Cleave PILLED pull off the upset. 3-2.
Not even the coin believed in Cleave PILLED, and they proved us all wrong. Coming in here 3-2. Such an amazing close series. I mean, this is just such an amazing way to start off the broadcast today and the season. We're seeing the Red Warrior. They did a really good job, and honestly, bringing in the Warrior, Warriors did an incredible
You said this is suicide!